Hi guys, this is Jamie, Phil's son. I've been given the job to offset the main farm on the 555, pulling the little offsets. I've been on it for the past week and doing like contours, and Dad's been pushing up more contours, so I've been leveling that out. And yeah, so now we're at the back paddock of their main farm, and he's told me to do the whole paddock, so I'm not sure how many acres it is, but there's been a bit of a problem. The wheel came off on the offsets. The wheel came off on the offsets about an hour and a half ago. I've been getting up early because the gas rig needs to come through, and it was about 6 o'clock this happened, so everyone was in bed, and so I just kept going for a bit longer, and then I called Dad up, and he said just keep going and we'll go have a look at it in a bit. But what happened is this axle snapped off in the bearing and all that, and we're gonna have to push it out or do something, but just need to be a bit careful now. Well, it's been quite a few long days of offsetting the paddock. I think last time when the wheel snapped off, that was about 5 days ago. Probably see just that shiny bit is the freshly snapped off, but we can't get a new wheel axle for a few more days, so we've sort of just been nursing it, getting up early so the old 555 doesn't overheat, because it overheats being summer. It gets hot in the afternoon. But yeah, I think we have probably another day and a half until we finish this paddock, and then we have 2 more paddocks to go. So yeah, it's going well.
Good morning everybody. A little bit of a hiccup in the plans already for today. We have a bit of rain happening. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but it is definitely enough to change the plans, which for me, I was going to be spraying. So yeah, that's not going to happen for a little while now, but I do actually have to do a little bit of work on the Grasshopper before I do go spraying. One of them, and the major one, is this monitor. Probably should start shutting doors. This monitor, there is a bit of a story, so strap yourselves in. The one that was originally in this, apparently there was a place in Australia here that you could send to get them fixed. So we took it out and sent it down to a company that was then going to pass it on to the person that would be able to fix it. And a couple of weeks later, rang up to find out where it was up to, and yeah, the the person that fixes them no longer fixes them, so nothing could be done. So we're in a bit of a pickle, because the main issue was the keypad here. All of these here was stuck on, and I tried pulling it apart, and yeah, you can't really fix them. It just needed a new keypad, and yeah, so not sure what we were going to do. Anyway, so I thought, I wonder if anyone in town might have an old one, and very unlikely, but I did call up someone that we do a fair bit with, and that is Palumbo Industries. So they got us out of a big pickle, so a big thank you to them. I'm just about to try it, so I won't get too carried away with the accolades until it works. But a couple of the other issue is that this has there's calibrations in this, obviously, that are required, and because we were sending the old one away to get fixed, I didn't write them all down. So that's a bit of a pickle, but I think I know the important one, and I should be able to figure out the other ones. So yeah, we'll just see how we go with all of that. But that's something that's got to be done. The other thing that's got to be done, and I'm not even sure whether I can because I didn't bring the right stuff, but we lost the lid for this, so that's all those connections are open to the elements, which is very much not ideal. So I've got some Perspex. I was just going to silicon a cover on that, but I don't actually think I got the silicon because I forgot that the work trailer's not here still. So I'm going to be fiddling around with this probably, and then it's actually a bit more rain than I thought, so I reckon that I could be waiting for a few hours before it is okay to spray. Anyway, enough yakking. I think the rock picker here is going to be getting fixed probably. I think the parts, we got a bit mucked around with parts for that as well, but I think they're coming today. So Brad will probably be down here at some point fixing that, and yeah, I think that's all the news we've got. I better start working. Well, I got the monitor in there. Seems to be, it'll at least do the job. It itself probably, like, it was just a second-hand unit. It's not, we weren't expecting it to be a perfect unit, but yeah, it's gonna work. Wait while I get up here without falling over. So it will work. I've had it. It will control the boom sections. There is a backlight that's gone in it, but there's at least one, so that's yeah, that'll work all right. And the buttons on these ones itself are probably, yeah, not like, you got to push them pretty hard, but they are working, so that is 100% better than the screen we had. So anyway, we're very lucky to be able to get onto one of these. So I've got to basically go through and calibrate the monitor. So the biggest one is the meter calibration, which there is a tag on the flow meter that has that on that, so I've entered that number. I might have to go into boom calibration. So each boom section you've got to enter in how yeah, how wide it is. So I think each section should be 6 meters from memory. So we'll enter in 600, and then boom 2 is 600, 3, 4 is 600. Enter. Righto, now the speed, I'm gonna have to just compare that with what the GPS speed is, and I'll fiddle around with that number, so that's okay. So I think I'm pretty well right to go, which, yeah, is a bit of a surprise, but I will have to just put I'll just put water in there to begin with, and then I'll do some testing just to make sure it's all good while it's going to take a little while for it to dry, and it is quite overcast, so I don't really want to yeah, do what happened last time I tried to fill this. Like, one of the reasons this field that I'm trying to spray now isn't very clean is when I did spray it last, we got rain that afternoon. So yeah, I may even have to wait till tomorrow or this afternoon, depending what the weather looks like. But if I get all this done and set up, and I'll spray out water a little bit just to make sure it's all working, that'll be fine. That'll be good. Well, we're missing something very important. I did also forget that the pump is down at the other bore tank. So I've got to go and get all of that and bring it back. So anyway, I'll be another little while before I get to fully test it. But yeah, I think so far it's all looking good. Well, I had a moment of weakness, and instead of doing the right thing and testing it a few times and making sure it all works, I decided just to go for it. And so far so good. Everything seems to be working as it should. And yes, that is a very, very good result. So I'm just currently doing the Headlands. Yeah, I don't know, I think there might be about 150 hectares I need to do, so it should be about 3 loads. It's a late start today, it's almost lunchtime, so I'll at least get 2 in today, I would think. But then, yeah, we'll just have to see. Maybe a third one if it stays overcast and not too hot. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Well, we've had a slight hiccup. I picked a dark shed, didn't I? Oh, we do have lights. I should try them. This is the only shed. This is the old grain shed. So this was here when the property was bought. But I don't need the outside one. Yeah, but it's the only one that is wired up. Obviously, we're waiting for a few other things to happen on the other main shed before lights and power and all that goes over there. Anyway, that's a bit brighter in here now. So the poor grasshopper here, that's meant to be attached there, so that's an issue, and that is a developing issue. So I'm just not entirely confident or comfortable going over rough ground, which is where I will be going now. Yeah, with the potential for the boom to fall off. That is not what we want. So what I'm going to do is, we've got the welder here. This is a stick welder. Not my first choice of welder, but it's all we got here. Yeah, particularly for the vertical ups or well, with low hydrogen rods, you can only do vertical ups, really. So yeah, that makes it all a bit trickier. Anyway, I think Phil was floating around here, so I might even get him to give me a hand, and we'll just suss out, see what we can come up with. We'll have a look for some other issues. Anyway, it was good. I only just saw that when I was filling it up with fuel, so yeah, I'm glad I double checked that. Well, I think we've come up with an overall plan for this thing. Phil was just here actually. I didn't get him on camera, but so I just quickly welded up the bits that we can get to, just to make sure that it's going to be, well, I guess still be attached by the time we finish the job. So yeah, we're just going to push it through for this spray job, and then we're actually going to take this up to the main farm, and yeah, it's going to take us probably a couple of days, or a couple of people a couple of days to work on it. We need to pull a tank out. There's a couple of leaks, cracks on the tank that need to be fixed, so the tank needs to come out. Once the tank's out, we can get and weld fully and properly and gusset everything everywhere that's cracked. So yeah, that'll be good to give it a good amount of love. It's sort of going to be a retirement down here, and eventually it would die down here, but yeah, it's amazing how handy a second sprayer is. Hopefully I'll get another load or 2 done today, and then I'll just be tidying it off tomorrow. So we'll go from there, see what happens. Well, it's another day, and there was a bit of a cold change come through, so it's actually feeling a little bit more chilly than we're used to at the minute. But I'm yeah, back here on the Grasshopper. Yesterday afternoon I was having a few issues with the calibration on the new monitor, but I know what pressure I need, so I'm just going to run it for the minute and it'll be close enough, and then I can double check the calibration settings with the other screen when we get that back, because I didn't know we were going to have to replace it. I thought it was getting repaired. I didn't write down all the calibration numbers, which I should have anyway. Like that's what they call due diligence, but yeah, I did not. So the other bit of fun and games, the poor old darling, he's just decided to start falling apart in areas I never expected. But you might be able to see the gauge there. It's currently reading, it says it's reading 50 psi. Well, that's actually 0. The whole background has come off and twisted, so I'll turn the pump on and it'll go up a little bit. So that's 0 there now, and that should be about 10 or so, maybe 20 psi there. But yeah, so that shouldn't be hard to buy a new one, but that's just, I never expected to deal with that. So all fun and games. We'll get into it. We'll get it done. I know spraying's not the most exciting thing, so I'm trying to get it done as quick as I can so we can have some more exciting content for whatever I'm doing after this, which I have no idea, to be honest. Well, sorry for the wind and the background noise, but yeah, I was able to get all the spraying done. Totaled about 200 hectares, so it wasn't too bad. I didn't really have any issues, which is nice for once. So what I'm currently doing now is I'm just pumping through some fresh water, and I'm just going to flush out the tank and the boom, and so that way when we take this back up, whenever that happens, we're going to have to pull the tank out, and we're not going to want any chemical in that at all. So I'll probably flush it out once now, put a fair amount of water in there, flush it, run it a bit, and then I'll let that drain, and then when we come back to pick it up, what I'll probably do is fill it up again and drain it again, just to make sure. I'll sign off for today. We'll see whatever's happening whenever I pick up the camera next.